I love how many we bring. It's fucking so funny. The map right now, we've carved out like a giant section of the map that we've now traversed.
I got a good screenshot of you, Pat. Don't worry. Don't worry. You're looking hard, dude. You're looking tough.
Cinematic.
Mm-hmm. With the sun in the background. Hell yeah.
It's the thumbnail right there.
Yep.
There you go.
Maybe, dude. I was gonna make another gay-ass documentary video on this. I'll probably do that. That'll be fun. They finally made it. An extraction shooter I like that doesn't also occasionally make me want to bathe with my toaster. Looking at you, Marathon. Just in case you've been living under a rock, a new game came out recently called Sand, Raiders of Sophie. And if I'm being honest as possible, I haven't had this much fun playing a new release in a long time. While I've been at work or out doing whatever, I find myself just wanting to come back and play it, a feeling I quite rarely have nowadays. So for anyone wondering what the hype's all about, let's get into it. To get some of the more technical info out of the way, let's start with some basic facts here. Sand is being developed by Hologryph and Tower House. Hologryph currently has between 11 and 50 employees, big range, thanks LinkedIn, and Tower House has 2 to 10. I think it's important to note with everything I'm going to say going forward just how few people have actually worked on this game. Hologryph has made some pretty small level games released more than 5 years ago, while this is Tower House's first. The game is published by TinyBuild, who actually has quite a few games on Steam. The game is made in the Unity engine, which, if you're a fan of Rust, you're definitely familiar with. So what's the premise? Essentially, like any extraction shooter, you're dropped into a map and want to get as much loot as possible by scouring the environment or killing other players and extract to safely stash your goodies away. In Sand's case, however, there's some pretty great twists. Instead of just dropping into a set map with your gun and a dream, you spawn in a huge procedurally generated desert landscape and mechanical landwalker called a Trampler. This Trampler can be custom made or one of the default chassis you have at the start. You and up to 5 friends then explore the map, either looting the monuments scattered throughout for anything you can find or hunting other Tramplers. You have an assortment of different turrets to put on your Tramplers, as well as your standard pistol, shotgun, long-range rifle assortment of handheld firearms. Like other games in the genre, the AI enemies aren't a threat in most scenarios, but damn, you gotta make sure you pay attention, otherwise you'll get lit the fuck up by some dude raining 80mm shells down on you. There's some variety in game mode as well, with Voyager mode involving taking your Trampler out with absolutely zero time limit so you can loot as long as you want, in Storm mode forcing the map to become smaller over time until there's nothing left, similar to a Battle Royale game. In each mode, the extraction points are towers scattered throughout the map, which show up about halfway through a Storm game. There's differing levels of loot, of course, from various iterations of the same type of gun, to special equipment that can buff your ship's damage, and even a kind of plasma shield. All the weapons offer a lot of variety, and for what I can see, different people have different favorites they use like any other shooter. In my opinion, the game's biggest strength is the unique way you can approach PvP. In the footage you can see here, at the end of a Storm game, I was able to steal 2 separate Tramplers without using mine at all. If you steal other Tramplers, you can actually extract with them and take as many as you want, so you can just keep doing this as long as there's Tramplers to steal. Each encounter has a lot of unique potential as far as how you want to handle it. My one friend just jumped on enemy ships the second we were close enough. Some situations just call for you to annihilate a smaller Trampler and blow them away. In some, you might actually not want to destroy the ship, but steal it for yourself using the captain's cabin. With larger ships, you might have some of your crew not even involved in PvP during a fight, but just repairing the whole time to make sure compartments or the reactor don't get destroyed, and a dedicated helmsman too. In solo games, which I've primarily played, because I have no friends, you have to be a jack of all trades, running between steering, shooting, and repairing, while at the same time trying to not get hit and die, which in a lot of cases is a death sentence for your Trampler. The gunplay feels good, with turrets sometimes being difficult to shoot depending on how your Trampler's moving compared to the enemies, and standard FPS guns feel responsive. Essentially, if you're good with the Semi, P2, or DB in Rust, you'll probably be pretty good at the on-the-ground gunplay. For the grinding aspect of the game, you have tech trees to fill out which grant you access to better weapons and utility items in the store. The tech tree also allows you to have larger and more robust Tramplers that you can build yourself, as I previously stated. As far as the setting is concerned, the turn-of-the-century German Empire being on an alien world feels really cool, and the graphics for such a small team are beyond amazing. I mean, hell, look at that planet. It's beautiful. Could bring a tear to my eye. There definitely seems to be some loose story implied by the setting, as the planet at one point was tropical, with the monuments previously being islands and the area between them that's now desert being an open ocean. There's zombie-like enemies in the monuments, which have a pretty cool design and add to the atmosphere, and the robot tramplers that spawn on you around the map, while no real threat most of the time, also look sick. All in all, I'd say visually the game gives off a Bioshock Infinite meets Mad Max kind of vibe. I think the most impressive thing about this game is how functional it is and how fun it feels on its initial release in early access. Compare this to most other early access releases, and this almost looks like a finished product. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I love DayZ, but it's a perfect example of it wasn't really fun to play for years. Obviously, it's not perfect. More content will be fun. Tech trees being fleshed out will be a good thing, and maybe some of the resources being balanced as some feel super common and some feel incredibly rare despite being needed pretty early in the tech trees. The gunplay really does feel solid to me, but there's definitely times where the hit registration feels a bit off, but honestly it's hard to tell if it's a real criticism or just has to do with shooting from a moving surface onto another moving surface. It should be hard, I suppose. All in all, though, I really commend the small team of people who made such a solid experience right off the bat, and I think any devs with an early access game going forward should take notes. Alright guys, so I hope you like this little summary of the game and understand where the hype's coming from. This is the first video I've done something like this, but, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see some of you out there on the dunes.